The EU and UK have reached a long-awaited agreement to ease cross-border trade and travel in Gibraltar following years of post-Brexit disputes over the contested territory.
Serbian President Alexander Vusich has visited Ukraine for the first time in what could be a realignment with the EU regarding Russia's war against its neighbour.
The United States and China concluded a framework agreement to solve their trade conflict.
The EU and UK have reached a long-awaited agreement to ease cross-border trade and travel in Gibraltar, following years of post-Brexit wrangling over the contested territory. Britain and Spain have spent years negotiating a deal to ensure the free movement of people and goods across the British overseas territory's land border with Spain. Until now, one of the key sticking points was how the border would be managed. The new agreement eliminates physical barriers, checks and controls on people and goods moving between Spain and Gibraltar.
Our shared and overarching objective has been to secure the region's long-term prosperity, particularly by removing all physical barriers, checks and controls on people and goods crossing between Spain and Gibraltar, while preserving the integrity of the Schengen area, the EU single market and the customs union.
All sides were keen to reach a deal before the EU's new entry-exit system takes effect later this year. The British government said the deal resolves the last major unresolved issue from Brexit, while Spain's foreign minister hailed it as historic.
Serbian President Alexander Vusich visited Ukraine on Wednesday in what marks his first ever trip to the country. He is scheduled to take part in the Ukraine Southeast Europe Summit in Odessa, Serbia's presidential office announced. According to Euronews sources, Vucic's participation in the summit signals Serbia's realignment with the EU regarding Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Serbia has positioned itself as neutral in the conflict, but Vucic's recent visit to Moscow during the annual Victory Day parade drew sharp criticism from Brussels. His visit was deemed to have contradicted EU membership criteria and to potentially hurt Serbia's accession to the bloc.
At least 3 people were killed and 60 wounded in a large-scale Russian drone attack on the Ukrainian city of Kharkiv overnight into Wednesday. Mayor Igor Terekov said 17 strikes hit 2 districts in just 10 minutes, setting a large apartment building on fire, with 9 children among the injured. Ukraine's Air Force said 85 drones were launched across the country overnight, with 49 neutralized by air defenses. This comes after the death toll from Russian strikes on Kiev and Odessa on Tuesday morning rose to at least 3 people. On Tuesday, President Volodymyr Zelensky expressed frustration at the lack of an international response to the recent escalation. He noted a record number of nearly 500 drones and missiles were launched on Monday night, including some made in North Korea. Zelensky stated that these attacks are hindering all peace efforts.
The United States and China reached a framework agreement to solve their trade disputes after months of tensions. The talks were concluded in London between the 2 delegations. Details of the agreement were not made available. On Monday, US President Trump said he would open the Chinese markets to American products.
We want to open up China. And if we don't open up China, maybe we won't do anything, but we want to open up China. It'll be a great thing for China, a great thing for the rest of the world.
Last week, Trump and his Chinese counterpart held a long phone conversation regarding the trade war between the 2 countries. The latest installment of their dispute began in February, when Trump imposed tariffs on Chinese imports and was followed by a series of announcements of increased tariffs. At their peak, they exceeded 100%.
Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass declared a local emergency and issued a 10-hour curfew in an effort to stop vandalism and looting amid the unfolding chaos. The curfew will run from 8 p.m. on Tuesday to 6 a.m. on Wednesday local time and affects an area just over 2.5 square kilometers in downtown Los Angeles. Bass says the decision had to be taken after 23 businesses in the area were victim to looting and theft. The curfew does not, however, apply to residents of the designated area, accredited media personnel, and law enforcement officers. It comes as protests in the city continue to rage against U.S. President Donald Trump's immigration raids, part of his latest crackdown. The riots were further exacerbated after Trump authorized the deployment of 5,000 troops, mainly National Guard, but also Marines, to quell the riots. The deployment of troops came of his own accord and without Governor Gavin Newsom's request or approval. Newsom has slammed Trump over the decision, which he called unlawful, as he accused the U.S. president of subverting democracy. He also warned other states that California is the start, but not the end of Trump's growing authoritarianism. The Democrat governor has also filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration and asked the federal court to block National Guard troops from assisting in immigration raids. A judge has set a hearing on the matter for Thursday.
No, it can only go right by having the...
Europe's largest startup and tech fair, Vivitech, is back in Paris. Over 4 days, 165,000 visitors and more than 13,000 startups from 50 countries are converging under one roof. This year, artificial intelligence, or AI, is once again the undisputed star of the event.
L'intelligence artificielle est en train de passer de la science-fiction à l'application et vous allez découvrir avec 13 000 startups ce que ça va vouloir dire dans le business, dans nos vies, dans nos démocraties. Deuxièmement, il y a un contexte géopolitique qui est absolument incroyable, dans lequel la tech joue un rôle et on va décrypter ça pendant 4 jours.
Among this year's standouts, innovations using AI to support mental health, like Emobot, a startup monitoring mood disorders passively and remotely.
C'est une application qui s'installe sur le téléphone et sur l'ordinateur. Et on vient analyser les expressions du visage une fois par seconde. On analyse également la voix lorsque on parle avec un collègue ou autre. Et ensuite, on agrège des données d'actimétrie sur les déplacements, qui est un des symptômes de la dépression. Et donc, toutes ces données-là, on les met ensemble et on en fait du coup un dashboard pour le médecin qui permet de suivre l'évolution des symptômes.
Another solution to improve mental well-being comes from Amoi, which merges neuroscience with scent to trigger emotional shifts in just a few minutes.
Le but de Amoi, c'est de stimuler votre état émotionnel dans les 5 minutes en relaxation, concentration, joie ou énergie. Et donc on a travaillé à des neuroolfactifs parfums qui ont été prouvés avec des études neuroscientifiques pour booster vos états émotionnels. Et il y en a 4, parce que la santé mentale, c'est super important.
At Vivitech, innovation isn't just about faster processors or smarter apps. It's also about caring for our minds, one algorithm or one scent at a time.
A lack of updated map data is making the fight against wildfire in Europe inefficient, according to a report by the European Court of Auditors. The report analyzes how Greece, Spain, Poland and Portugal use EU funds to prevent wildfires. While it acknowledged significant investment in prevention, the institution notes that the data used is outdated. For instance, it was found that in Greece, the list of areas prone to forest fires is more than 45 years old. The report additionally says there is a little monitoring of the actual impact of EU spending on the ground. It reviewed projects funded since 2014 through the European Structural and Investment Funds and the Recovery and Resilience Facility. Auditors concluded that the projects selected to receive EU funds do not always target areas where the impact will be the greatest.
This week, Uzbekistan welcomed high-level European delegations, strengthening its role as a key partner in Central Asia. The diplomatic push centered on the Tashkent International Investment Forum, which opened on Tuesday. Slovakia's Prime Minister Robert Fico and Bulgarian President Rumen Radev were among the important guests. In his keynote speech, President Shavkat Mirziyoyev highlighted the country's economic reforms and ambition to become an international investment hub.
O'tgan yili investitsiya hajmi 35 milliard dollarga, eksportimiz 27 milliard dollarga yetgani 4 yildan buyon o'tkazilib kelayotgan Toshkent xalqaro investitsiya forumining ham amaliy natijasi deb bilamiz.
The visit by Bulgarian President Radev focused on cooperation in IT, tourism and labor migration. Meanwhile, with Slovak Prime Minister Fico, Mirziyoyev signed a declaration on a new strategic partnership on Monday.
There are two directions actually. One direction is like to re-establish our existing supply chain for our companies located in Slovakia, and on the other hand also to enter new markets in a Central Asian part of the world. So it means to invest in Uzbekistan.
Their talks included plans for industrial cooperation in green energy and automotive manufacturing, as well as joint digital initiatives.
Sustainable investment, they have an ambitious plan to have 54% of energy coming from renewable by 2030, and they are very active in investing in renewable and attracting foreign direct investment in renewable.
The meetings underscore Uzbekistan's strategy of deepening ties with the EU and positioning itself as an attractive emerging market.